Welcome back, nieces, nephews, everything in between and or otherwise, to another episode of Video Game Realtor, where I go through your favorite games and see if I can't find you a place to stay. And today, we are looking at the stages of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. All 100 and whatever of them. Not including DLC though, because I am still broke. And of course, same as always, we'll be trying to make these stages as safe as possible by, hypothetically, removing any NPCs that may cause you harm or any NPCs that you just don't want around. Really, we're going to be acting as though there are no NPCs on any of the stages because I assume you don't want roommates, and this is your dream home, so we can at least do that for you. Though since Smash is pretty well known for its stage hazards, we will be leaving in some of the more basic hazards. Stuff like bombs, spikes, and lava. This is mostly due to the fact that it would just be kind of hard to write around those features that I can't do anything about. Another thing we can't really do anything about is our biology. We are human after all, not big gorillas, cute monsters, or Italian. So of course we wouldn't have any of the abilities that they would. So to keep things as grounded as possible, and after consulting the Dark Place for advice, I decided that my in-game avatar for all this footage would be, well, me. Not super important, but I just wanted to give you all a good look at my me. Some of these stages are going to be really hard to rank, and some of them are going to be real easy. Particularly the ones at the very bottom of the list. Speaking of, let's talk about the worst stages to live in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 105, Norfair. Alright, y'all know the drill, and lava is a big one. A no-no, that is. And this is just a metric shitload of it too, far surpassing any reasonable survivability, especially when this hot honey starts getting antsy. Whether it be moving up to keep your bed warm while you sleep, or giving you a far too hot shower, this stuff does not play nice. And that isn't even mentioning the fact that you may not even be able to breathe here. See, Norfair is a stage from the Metroid series, a series I am admittedly not very familiar with, but I do know that there is a lot of space travel involved. I don't know which planet this is, but I am willing to bet it ain't Earth. I'm also willing to bet there's a reason Samus wears that suit on her adventures. It's not a big issue here because the lava takes center stage, but we will be coming across some stages later where breathable atmospheres will play a larger part. Number 104, 75M. I wanted to put this one up next to show that danger doesn't always get the final say if a place is just really super terrible. And if we're looking for a place to lay our head, then this place is just abysmal. Every one of these platforms, which are hanging above the endless black void mind you, are tiny and so narrow. And usually I think it's cool to have elevators in the home, but these are just stupid. And of course your roided out roommate is hogging the biggest room. Lucky for you, but not for him. All of these guys will be evicted before you get there. That's including the little fire guys. Nintendo loves to throw sentience onto random objects. Though getting kicked out might make the big guy a little cranky. Number 103, Lilac Cruise. This is one of the most obvious examples of a stage not having a breathable atmosphere. I mean, you're literally on the back of a spaceship as the stars streak past you. An argument might be made for living inside of the spaceship, but personally, I don't see a door and I don't care to look either.
Number 102, Final Destination. This is another one that is arguably in space, and if it isn't, it sure could have fooled me. Outside of it being in space, it's also just really simple. It's a floater, and we're going to see a lot more like this one later in the list, but this is just about one of the worst ones since it is in space.
Number 101, Brinstar Depths. Pretty obvious reasons why this one is so sucky. Whole lot of lava, uneven terrain, not a lot of terrain, and terrain that can be spun all about. Granted, the alien guy wouldn't be here to spin it, but having a house that even can spin is a danger in itself. And speaking of that alien, this place may not even be habitable to begin with, even if it weren't so hot. Number 100, Brinstar. I'm sure no one is surprised that these stages are neighbors. Brinstar Senior is just barely better. I assume it takes place on the same planet given the shared name, so it probably isn't safe to breathe here, and the ground you get to stand on is also much smaller, though it is stationary. Also, usually swapping out the lava for acid like we have here would be an improvement, but if that acid jumps up at you like this one does, then it really isn't so much better. The only other thing of note here is your would-be roommate in the back here, who I hesitate to even show on YouTube uncensored. Gross. Would also be removed, so that's nice. Number 99, Hennenbow. I mean, Do I really need to explain this one? It's the prettiest by far, just look at the colors alone, but that's about it. Those white lines are the only thing you can stand on, and they don't offer much in the way of floor space. And then whatever this blue stuff isn't even water. You can't swim in it or anything, you just fall right through. Sure is cute though. Number 98, Umbra Clock Tower. Now look, I know this one is just a big piece of clock hurtling towards the ground, and it doesn't even make sense that your feet would still be touching this thing at some points. And it would probably make you sick falling all the time, so how does it go higher than the rest? Because the rest suck. And this one being better than them is really saying something. Its points really come from you being able to breathe and having space to put stuff down. Sucks in just about every other regard though. Number 97, Venom. Similar to Umbra, we are moving through the air again, but unlike Umbra, we are moving on a different axis and doing so much slower. And those things net them the necessary points to go above, though it's not entirely better. Main thing being there isn't much room, and the space you do get isn't exactly flat. We also fly over some pretty harsh climates on this ride, most notably this lava, though it isn't so close that it'd be an actual issue. It'll just get a little hot sometimes. Also, maybe you can breathe here, maybe not, I don't know, but we should be good for now. Number 96, Pilot Wings. Just a bit better than a spaceship over hostile terrain is a plane over a tropical getaway, and we will get to that tropical getaway later. Obviously this place is just better aesthetically, but also the wings of the plane are actually flat, which makes it slightly more feasible to do things up here. Not by much though. The only worst part about this one to the last is that you switch planes at one point, which could cause issues, so whatever. Number 95, Corneria. I'm getting deja vu for some reason. This one really is like the good version of the other. Blue skies, green grass, and the ominous red planet looming in the background. This place has got it all. Speaking of that blue sky, I do believe that indicates an atmosphere for us to breathe. And this will be the last one I consider for that criteria, by the way. But you are on top of a ship again. The same one, I think. This is just a different angle. And this angle does yield some extra space, so that is nice. And if you do end up falling, it's not as bad as it would have been. You would just fall into the water down there. Truly a refreshing stage. Number 94, Summit. Dude, Summit is crazy. You're on the top of an icy mountain and you're slipping around and crap. And then it starts sliding down the side of the mountain, and then you're floating in this water. It is crazy, and they got like this weird fish. The fish wouldn't be an issue, but I thought I'd mention it anyway. But I don't know, I just think it's kind of better than Corneria, because being on an icy mountain and sometimes in the water just seems like it'd be better than being in the sky on the top of an active ship. I don't know. Number 93, Great Cave Offensive. Here it is, y'all, the one that came to everyone's mind for the worst. And while it may not be the very worst, it is still pretty darn shit. And part of that would have to do with it just being too damn big. It's one of the larger maps in the game, and it is just riddled with hazards from lava to spikes to loose minecarts. Aside from the danger, it's also just kind of eerie. I mean, look at the background, all dark and ominous. I don't know, that might just be me. Even if this place was safe, you'd still need tons of ladders and bridges and bears, oh my, to make this place any kind of decent. And I'll tell you what, it just ain't worth it. Number 92, Balloon Fight. Now, I know we already covered 75M, but this is the first one that really makes me consider the drastic different art styles some of these stages have. And I'd like to think, if I were a real human living in this retro style stage, would it actually be pixelized, contrasting my realistic body, or should it be considered to look normal and it only seems that way as a mechanic of the medium? I don't know if those words make sense in that order, but I'm gonna say that if the fighters stay in their more realistic styles and the stage looks the way it does, then that is just what it looks like, and that's what it would look like for me and you. All of that is to say, this stage is ugly, and that is its worst feature by far. There's also the lightning and spinny things and stalactites, which could cause some issues, but I don't really care about that.
Number 91, Wrecking Crew. Ironically, this is one of the best of the worst places you could live. Think of it as the best of the F tier. And it's not so surprising, seeing as this is the first stage where it's an actual building and people would have came here to live or work. If it weren't for those bombs, this place would have been a whole lot higher.
Number 90, Mute City SNES. Alright, few things. 1, removing NPCs would get rid of all these cars, so that's not a worry. And then probably these platforms would be gone as well, since we don't need to keep up with those cars anymore. So all that leaves us with is a pixelated, ugly, flat plane. Now usually I wouldn't have given up all the flown over space with stages like this, but since this one already has so little going for it, I kind of feel bad even with the modifications, so it's not really a big deal. This one sucks. Number 89, Dreamland GB. This is the first of a few auto-scrolling stages, and I think it's probably the worst. Partially due to the fact that it's not just an auto-scroller. There are parts in this stage where you're just shifted to a different location in Dreamland. We'll see more like this later. Instead of a stage being altered to look different, you're essentially just taken to a brand new stage. Just to give these a name, I'll call them shifters. On top of all that, this stage is just ugly with its greeny yellow color palette and Game Boy graphics. This pic of DDD is pretty cool though. Number 88, Pac-Land. Now we can talk about an actual auto-scroll stage, even though this one may fall a little flat. Probably should have saved that joke for later, but whatever. So obviously a stage like this, you need to make sure you keep up with the camera, lest you slip off screen and bite it. How does that translate to living somewhere? Well, possibly controversially, I think we should take it 1-to-1. This is the stage, and this is what we have to deal with. If we can accept living in a cardboard 2D world, then I think we'll have to accept the camera and dealing with the risks that it brings. So that's how I'll be thinking about every auto-scrolling stage. They'll be getting points on each other mostly for style, and Pac-Land doesn't have much of that. Though I do like the look of this sunset setting. Number 87, Mushroomy Kingdom. Mushroomy only gets the point over Pac-Land because of the 3D graphics. The idea of Mushroomy Kingdom has always been a funny one to me, because I wonder what the thought process on this stage was. Guys, what if we do 1-1 from Mario, but in the apocalypse? And then the boss is just like, get to work on that immediately. If anyone has any context on why this stage exists, please let me know, because I didn't look it up at all, and also I'm sorry for that bit. Number 86, 3D Land. Now this one is a bit more dangerous than Mushroomy, but good god, look at this place. It is beautiful. Sometimes that's all you want. Yes, it's an auto-scroller, but there are also elements of fly-around stages. More on that later. But these fly-around parts is where most of the danger is from. Yeah, just falling, sure, but there are also parts where the platforms get hit and slanted, and other areas where you get smashed up by spikes. So yeah, it is more dangerous, but who really cares? No one's living here. Number 85, Golden Plains. Easily the next best. And technically an auto-scroller, but just barely. The camera only really goes a little to the left and right, and the left is actually pretty nice with those tree wall things. They remind me a lot of those fake trees and stuff that they would put in play places for kids at like restaurants and stuff. It just looks plastic. But yes, nice place, very pretty, just watch out for them holes. Number 84, Rainbow Cruise. Does anyone even like fighting on this stage? Anybody? No? I didn't think so. Now, imagine trying to live here with all this damn foolishness. Seriously, I'm just gonna let this footage play for a bit because I'm willing to bet you haven't played this stage in a long ass time. So I'll refresh your memory. Number 83, Port Town Aerial Drive. Smash has a lot of racetrack stages, and man, this one is ugly. It's all so hardcore, metal, and dystopian, and I'd just rather not have any of y'all deal with it. Also, take a peek over the side of that railing. We are pretty high up, so I suggest you don't even go up there. Number 82, Big Blue. The track stage everyone remembers, and can you blame them? It's just so big and blue. Got a whole lot more curb appeal than the dark and drab of the last stage. Number 81, Halberd. I spoke too soon on the dark and drab. I don't know, I guess I just like having a platform that I can rely on to stay under my feet and not go off screen while I'm on it. We are going really high up though, so if that's going to be an issue for you, then you should keep on looking. Really, if you do value your life, keep looking. None of these are safe yet. Number 80, Mario Circuit. Now this is a weird one, seeing as it's our first of our fly around stages, where you don't stay in any one area for too long before a platform comes through and sends you all around any given location. And this one is especially disorienting since this stage is based off of a track from Mario Kart 8, which is infamous for its pretty liberal laws of gravity. So there are points where the ground is behind you, on side of you, above you, inside out, whatever. And that would obviously cause some issues if we were trying to start a life here. It's kind of a shame too, because this track is really charming in some areas. It makes me consider doing a video on Mario Kart 8. Let me know if y'all might want that. I'll say it again, leave a comment if you'd like me to cover Mario Kart 8 tracks on an episode of Video Game Realtor. Number 79, Figure 8 Circuit. This is almost an obligatory placement given the last one. It is just a plain better version of a racetrack. No weird gravity, no moving around, and there are even cute little flowers back here. Though I do believe that I see eyes on those flowers, and that is grounds for sentience, and that is grounds for removal. We'll get them off your property right away, lickety-split, free of charge. Number 78, Prism Tower, and number 77, New Donk City Hall. These two are practically the same, so the ranking isn't super important, but since I have to, I put Prism Tower lower because you fly around a bit more, and that's just a bit more dangerous. With New Donk City Hall, you're practically riding an elevator up to the top. Nothing fancy, even a little boring. Number 76, Woohoo Island. I did a little freestyle rapping about this stage before I wrote this. Anyway, what do you want me to say? It's a tropical getaway. Who in their right mind wouldn't want to stay? That wasn't the freestyle, by the way. This place is great, and it should be in probably like the S tiers if it weren't for the way that I rank fly-arounds. You get to see the sights, like the plaza and the lava, and even get to take a nice little boat trip.
What are you doing? Don't walk on my roof.
But it's just that, seeing the sights. You don't actually get to stay and enjoy these places for what they are. Such is the plight of the fly-around stage. And since it is such a bummer that these nice places can't be appreciated, I'm gonna do an Ice Bucket Challenge to celebrate getting over 7,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for 7,000 subscribers. Number 75, Delfino Plaza. Spoiler, this one and the next are both fly-arounds. And honestly, the ranking of this trio is kind of biased. That'll be made very obvious with the next pick, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Delfino Plaza honestly should go a little lower than Woohoo Island, simply due to the fact that there is less. As the name implies, this stage shows off Delfino Plaza and just a few more smaller things right outside of the plaza. As opposed to Woohoo Island, which shows off the whole island and then a little extra. So why do I put Delfino higher? Well, I just think it's cuter, more charming. Woohoo Island is based off of the Wii Sports Resort game, which doesn't have any real characters or stories, those aspects being replaced by you with the Miis. And with the Miis being just stand-ins for real people, the environment kind of reflects that, trying to look sort of like a slightly cuter real life. And Delfino Plaza is admittedly not so different from that. It's one of the more realistic locations in the Mario series, save for New Donk City of course. But seeing this nice tropical beach town with the Mario art style is really charming. Like these weird stone pillars, or of course the warp pipes. And how can I not mention the giant shine sprite in the middle of the town center? As well as the way some of the roofs look like they're made out of leaves. I'm just a big old softie for subtle style. Number 74, Skyloft. Don't act so surprised, I made this channel off of Zelda content. Can you blame me for being a little biased? And it is funny too, because I do not like Skyward Sword. But even the biggest Skyward Sword haters would say that Skyloft is a beautiful little village. Dare I say, one of the most visually appealing starting locations in any Zelda game? But that's not my point. My point is that this place is real nice with the clear blue waterfalls, luscious green grass, and even recovery heart flowers. The biggest danger this place poses really is the location. If you don't watch your step, you'll end up giving the ground a big wet kiss, and that wetness won't be coming from your lips. It also won't be coming from your, you would just die. You would fall and you would die. Though I hear the locals already have a system set in place for that, so it should be alright. Actually, that system alone would make this the de facto best fly-around stage, because it eliminates the imminent danger of the fly-arounds. I did not realize that fact until writing this. Good job me. Number 73, WarioWare Inc. Finally got our feet back onto some solid land. No more getting thrown about. Kind of. The price you pay for this relative stability is mini games. You get thrown into them every couple of seconds, and if you aren't paying attention, you might get an X on you. Not that it does much. This place is mostly fine, I guess. It's just that some of the elements for the mini games could be annoying, so just be wary of that. Number 72, Pirate Ship. Pretty simple. You just kind of live on a boat, and sometimes there's a rock. Also, the first time I tried getting footage for this, I intentionally jumped on this spring to try and show it off, and I overestimated my gaming abilities and just died. So I suggest you have someone come remove that for you.
Number 71, Spirit Train. Ever seen Snowpiercer? This is a lot nicer than that. You pretty much just live on a train, and sometimes stuff will be there, sometimes it's even a house, and with the removal of the NPCs, this train would have no conductor, but there's also wouldn't be anyone on the tracks to cause you trouble either, so you should be alright. If he can do it, so can you.
Number 70, Bridge of Eldin. This is literally just a bridge. Without any NPCs to come and leave housewarming gifts, it really is just a regular bridge. Number 69, Training. It's much safer than any of the other stages, not having any clear threats, and also just a lot of space. The only issue is obviously this pit in the middle, but even that isn't the worst part. The worst part is that you would have to live against a graph paper background every day, and since this stage can only be accessed in training mode, my camera access is severely restricted, so I can't even get a very good look at this place. So it's ugly and a little bit dangerous, but not so bad. Number 68, Mario Bros. I believe this is the first fully 100% safe stage in the game. No NPCs of course, no stage hazards, I'm not counting this POW block, no pits, and you can't even walk off to your death like a lot of other walk-off stages because you just loop back around to the other side. So why is it so low? Because it's ugly! And it's in a sewer system. What are we, Ninja Turtles? Number 67, Newport City. These next few are ones that I like to think of as too big for their own good, and this one isn't even the biggest. I just think that the dark atmosphere and neon lights is the least appealing aesthetic of these stages. It also doesn't help that a lot of the ground is just kinda janky looking floating things, as opposed to the proper islands like we'll see later. Number 66, Temple. This one is just a little better, and I am just a little biased. Peep that, Triforce. I like that it has a more natural and peaceful vibe to it with these grassy islands and this older architecture. I don't like how long I spent trying to get up here without using a double jump. There are some sections in the background that might be nice to get to, and even just some doors on the main axis that are usually hidden from our view that could be nice. If it's your land, then it's your life to risk if you want to try and get to them. Number 65, Palutena's Temple. This stage is huge, but also one of the nicest. And I'll be the first to say it, there are a few places for injury to befall you, mostly having to do with spikes here, here, and here. And then injuries unrelated to the spikes can be found right down here, but that's an obvious one. And enough with the cons, let's do some pros. This stage is huge, maybe a little too big, sure, but I'd rather too big than too small. And then there are even some cool elements in the background that would really add to the quality of life here. Like this statue room, or even this little dungeon where you could stick your family members that you don't really care for during the holidays. And I'd of course be remiss not to mention the full buildings that you would have access to, like this one with the columns, and of course this beautiful temple back here. But it's not just the extravagant stuff that's nice. Even the smaller things like this quaint little flower garden with a waterfall really adds to this place. And obviously it's not the best with the danger there is and its slightly too large size, but it sure is pretty. Number 64, Reset Bomb Forest. This is one of those shifter stages I was talking about before, where you're pretty much getting teleported from two different places in the world. And on this stage you get shifted between the side of what looks like a castle wall in the middle of some kind of battle, and then some kind of evil tree dimension or something, where everything is black and magenta with sharp crystals and stuff. Not terribly inviting. If I have any fans of the game where all these sword fighters come from, could any of y'all leave a comment explaining what the hell is happening here? That would be very much appreciated. As for the stage, with the two places you can go, neither of them are very nice, between the battlefield and the home of the bonefish. so I feel like I won't really need to explain myself too much on this one. Number 63, Mushroom Kingdom U. Wow, I originally had this stage placed way higher, thinking this first area was the whole stage. But now I'm realizing that this is a shifter. You got the first place, which is pretty solid, then there's a tilting island, which sucks, a clock tower, which you need to stay on the move with, and last is this skyblock area with 2 islands and some platforms. This place sucks. Number 62, Mario Maker. This is such a weird one, because it can be so many different ways. And I don't just mean all the different Mario game styles, but the layout of the stage is random each time you play it. And since this is a stage that can really be so many different things, better or worse than any given stage, I decided to pretty much just put it in the middle. It's just one of those stages that I can't really think about too much because it's one of those levels that make me really hate doing this series. Number 61, Castle Siege. Similar to Reset Bomb Forest, this is another shifting stage. It's also another one that starts us on the castle walls in the middle of some kind of battle, though this battle doesn't seem to be quite as intense. Just some cannon fire in the background and no giant anime girl that nukes the place. What the fuck? Speaking of a place, the secondary location of this stage is inside of an elegant throne room, so it's a big step up. And it's even a walk-off, so there's no issue of you falling through into any pits. But then we get to our third location, which appears to be inside of a giant lava cave or something. There is just a ton of lava, and the only thing separating you and it is a very thin piece of rock that I wouldn't put too much faith into. Not that it matters much, with how much lava there is in here and how little ventilation I assume there is, you'd pretty much be the dish in the crock pot that your mom decided to experiment with when you've already had a bad day. Number 60, Paper Mario. Paper Mario is of course another shifter, but it goes higher because obviously it's the most aesthetically pleasing with the colors and the art style. But that art style also makes me think about the realness of this all. Is the fire in the Bowser section something that could hurt you, or are they just orange and yellow streamers? And would you really drown in that water or what? Just something to think about. 2 things you don't have to worry about though is any lava or evil tree dimension that you'll have to visit if you stay here.
Number 59, Frigate Orpheon. This is kind of a simple one. You're just on a space station, I guess, and sometimes it flips. And is that better or worse than getting teleported all over? I really don't know, but this is where it's going.
Number 58, Distant Planet. Now, obviously a couple of leaves and a slope isn't exactly prime real estate. But to put it into perspective, this is the first stage that doesn't fly you around, make you keep up with the camera, doesn't shift you to other parts of the world, and most importantly, isn't butt ugly. From here on out, the stages are usually going to be remaining stationary and often just consist of an island floating above the void. Floaters, as I like to call them. And this one just isn't quite that. It's a little bit worse, really. Just these bouncy vines barely keeping you from falling to your doom below, but again, I really do like this clean, realistic style this stage has. And also, I can't lie, I am a real sucker for the miniature people gimmick. More on that later. Number 57, PictoChat 2. What happened to PictoChat 1? Hey, I'm just joking, guys. This is a weird one to start off the boring old floaters because it is definitely the least boring. Plenty of little gibs and creens to keep you annoyed, and these are just part of the stage that we have to deal with, similar to that of fly-arounds or auto-scrollers. Though there are some aspects that could be argued for removal, like this blowing guy, the cars, or these jumping penis guys. But with the nature of PictoChat, I believe these aren't real true blue NPCs like the Birdman or the racers from the track stages. These seem more akin to things like spikes or lava, you know, more a part of the set than the actors on it. So yeah, it's a weird stage, but you get what you pay for. Number 56, Green Greens. This guy barely gets the extra point, and it's there mostly for the art style upgrade. Cute green islands with plenty of plant life. Really the biggest issue here are these bomb blocks that will bust right in your face like your ex-boyfriend who still reacts to all of your Instagram stories. The bombs plus these gaps between the islands are enough of their own problems that this stage is forced to stay this low. Number 55, Mushroom Kingdom 2. These next few are ugly as hell, so let's move through them quickly. Mushroom Kingdom Jr. here gives you 2 areas on the side for space and then a smaller lower platform on the middle. Awesome. Number 54, Duck Hunt. This is a pretty standard floater, just a sizable island over the void, though this one is pretty interesting because it makes your character, and assumedly you, two-dimensional. Probably doesn't actually mean anything, but it's pretty cool. But the coolest part about this stage isn't really relevant to this video at all, and that is that you can play Duck Hunt on this stage. Keep knocking the ducks out of the air and the stage will keep track of that at the bottom. The rounds will continue to increase and the difficulty of those rounds will increase as well. Pretty cool. Number 53, Peach's Castle. God, this stage is ugly and barren. Here it is. I only put it higher for the slight graphical increase and general brighter atmosphere, but that is really all it has. Number 52, Mushroom Kingdom. I guess I should have made a Where's Mushroom Kingdom 1 joke earlier. Whoops. See, now this is a retro art style translated into 3D in an aesthetically pleasing way. Much easier on the eyes and much more space to boot. Number 51, Magic Ant. This stage is silly. Just a bunch of pink clouds and somebody's Undertale playthrough in the background. Something about these clouds make me feel like they wouldn't be totally structurally sound, and that if something were heavy enough, it would just fall right through. So thanks, but no thanks. I think I'll need something a little more solid than clouds to live on. Number 50, Skyworld. Okay, now we're talking. We got some actual flooring in here now, and 4 whole clouds to live on instead of just 3. I told you I'd find you somewhere better to live. Number 49, Fourside. This is the first of a few stages that make me really notice all the weird category of stages in this game. Of course we have the fly arounds and the auto scrollers, and then we get a bit more specific with the racetrack stages, and the weirdest, in my opinion, rooftop stages. We'll get to see the rest of them, but to start us off is the top of these apartments. And this is the lowest of the roof stages due to how uneven the terrain is. The different shapes of the roofs, sure, but mostly it's just this tall building in the middle that you'd always have to get some crazy air over. Plus all the flat places you can stand are pretty small and don't leave us much space to stay away from the pits, so that's even worse. So I am sure you can understand the placement. One last thing is that you can actually look into the apartment buildings below. It's like they're teasing what we really want. This would have gone much higher if you were able to enter these apartments, especially this big one in the middle. I'd love to get some furniture in there, but alas. Number 48, Saffron City. Yeah, the style isn't much to write home about, but you do get much more open air platforms with far less variation in altitude. Also, I didn't mention it in the first one, but the atmosphere here is much nicer than the doom and gloom up in his room of Fourside. Though I say doom and gloom, but really it was just nighttime, and this one is in the daylight. Number 47, Princess Peach's Castle. Another sunny bright one with a graphical upgrade. This one does have some more elevation to it with this raised section in the middle, but I think of it as much more tolerable, considering that either side can be used as its own room in a roommate situation. These bonsai bills would be an issue if this weren't the Mario universe where everything has a face. So they will be evicted. Only other thing left really are these buttons that show up sometimes just to add some more platforms, so could be a lot worse. Number 46, Suzuka Castle. You're not even really on the roof with this one, just the scaffolding. It seems sturdy enough though, and it also doesn't have any catches. No stage hazards, no weird buttons or anything. Only kind of issue is this gap in the middle, but with how normal the rest of this place is, I'm sure you can look past it. Number 45, Hyrule Castle. This is easily the biggest of any of these rooftops, and it is certainly the best. There is all the room like I mentioned, and there are areas with different elevations, but none to an annoying degree. And there's even one area where you can get some protection from the elements. Because this is a rooftop after all, there's only so much we can do there. But it is sure better than the others.
Number 44, Find Me. I'm just noticing now that this stage is another one of those rooftop stages where you're on the top of some sort of castle tower. Regardless, they give us plenty of space, and there's even another platform for us to use for, I guess, a bedroom or whatever you want possibly. I don't know. It's an alright place, but it just kind of sucks that we have to evict such beautiful residents.
Number 43, Congo Falls. Now this one is much more appealing. With a nice luscious green jungle backdrop and this gorgeous waterfall, Ugh. It would be great if you weren't staying on these rinky-dink wet logs that shift under your weight. No thank you. Number 42, Jungle Japes. Holla at me. Obviously very similar to the last. Main difference is that you get considerably more space, and these platforms even have stairs that connect to them. And obviously there's a whole cabin, much more within reach, with a tenant that we'd be more than happy to kick onto the street. Plus, another big commodity in this series is a bathroom. These things are hard to come by, man. I can count on one hand the number of bathrooms that we have had on this whole series, and I still have a lot of fingers left over on that hand. Maybe I can do a short little video on which of those would be the best to live in. Number 41, Fountain of Dreams. Yeah, it's really fucking wet. It's a fountain. And also, it might be in space. Probably should have looked at this one a little bit more before ranking it. But I get the feeling you guys don't really care about the rankings of each individual thing that much anyway. Number 40, Spear Pillar. This one takes place at the top of a hill or a mountain or something, and it's pretty cool. A standard flat area up top, and I do say up top because there is a down below too. This basement may be a little hard to get to without legendary Pokemon blowing trap doors down there, but you should be able to manage anyway. Number 39, Midgar. We're starting to get into the territory of bland generic floaters where the vibes are all that's really going to get one over the other. And Midgar has got this harsh, metal, brutalist vibe to it that is not very appealing, so that is why it's at the bottom. Number 38, Wily Castle. This one is super similar, but gets the point above because I just like it more. It's a bit less hostile feeling, mostly due to this mountain background with these floodlights brightening up the sky. Less important, but still worth mentioning, is that this stage, instead of just floating over space, actually does extend down past the camera's view, giving it a subtle but noticeable feeling of structural integrity. Like, you don't have to worry about it falling out of the sky for whatever reason. Number 37, Congo Jungle. I don't know what they are feeding these Donkey Kong stage designers, but they sure know how to make a chilled out stage. Obviously this stage gets the style points, but we do have to talk about this floor plan. The only flat parts are in the middle and on the sides, and they don't really offer all that much in the way of space. The real issue here are these slanted sections that make it near impossible to get a couch or a desk in here. So yeah, I do like the chilled out groove, but I'd rather visit than live here. Number 36, Small Battlefield, and number 35, Battlefield. These two I'll talk about together and also quickly, because one is just a floating stone platform, and the other is just a little bit bigger than that, with one extra floating platform. Number 34, Dreamland. This one is literally just if Battlefield was cute and appealing, and you'd actually want to live there. Number 33, Yoshi's Island. The ground is a little uneven, but not to any Congo Falls degree, of course. I also think the storybook stage adds to the charm of it as well. Plus, you go through some different weather, and I'd like to think that you'd have some sort of control over that if you live there. Though I will be talking about a more similar concept to the weather thing in a later stage. Number 32, Yoshi's Story. Another Battlefield type stage, but I simply like the style a little more. Sue me. Number 31, Super Happy Tree. You know, I'm only just now realizing that I put all of these Yoshi stages right next to each other. Number 30, Smashville. Oh, thank God, a new series. Who doesn't love Animal Crossing? It literally invented cozy gaming. More or less. And it carries that same vibe over to this stage, making it a very simple but easy on the eyes place to stay. And that's about it, really. Number 29, Town and City. Obviously, this is a very similar stage, though it is a unique one. A stage that often has the back part of it being removed and replaced with another area of the town. This feature, as I would imagine it, would allow for you to choose which of the two different back pieces you would have at any given time. And maybe these can act as your different rooms, like a kitchen or a bedroom. Pretty neat, eh? Number 28, Yoshi's Island Melee. Oh, this one is so nice and pretty with the greens and these nice little trees and even a little pond. Little. Only thing you'll really need to watch out for is this section in the middle, which you could fall through into and perish. There's already a little bridge here, but do be careful because if you step too hard, they'll get all spinned around and you will fall on through. Number 27, Windy Hill Zone. We're keeping up with the grass and greenery theme of this stage, but we've got some more of that Lost World style with these square flowers and leaves. I like the additional platforms this stage has, not including this windmill. Stay away from that. I really like how the platforms aren't just floating in the air like they usually are, but actually have sections of the ground that hold them up. Last thing about these platforms is it's good that they're flat because the actual ground has some curve to it, which could get in the way of things. Number 26, Garden of Hope. Another Pikmin stage, so it's another miniature stage. And you guys know how much I love those. This is, as the name suggests, a garden, so there is plenty of plant life here. Mostly in the background though. This stage also has some similarities to Yoshi's Island Melee with having this destructible bridge in the middle. Though I will say that this bridge is far more sturdy than the one from that stage. The bridge connects what makes up the bulk of our space here with these two little islands. On one of them is a flipped over bowl which can provide you with some shelter from the elements, and if we look inside this thing, we can see that there is actually a little doorway on the back for you to get in and out of. And I know I've made it very clear that this isn't what this series is about, but there is also a running waterfall in the back where you could easily get water from at any time, so that's a nice bonus. Number 25, Moray Towers. A strange pick, I am aware, but I was thinking about it as one of the few stages to have cover, and this one sure does have it. There are multiple levels to this stage, most of which providing cover to the level below it. There are even some places that extend into the background which give us a bit more space to work with. This guy has the right idea. Number 24, Great Plateau Tower. A very simple one with similar reasoning. For cover. This time it is a lot less stupid with all of those levels. You basically just get a little apartment up here and cover from the rain. Though this roof is destructible, so don't do anything too stupid. Also, fun fact, they actually modeled the tower all the way down for this stage. Usually with stages like this, they'll only extend the model to a little bit further than what the camera would normally show, and then just have it cut off, floating over a void. But here we actually get to see the ground and a lot of the details from the Breath of the Wild map, including the shadows cast by clouds that we can't even see on the stage. My theory is that they just ported over this section of the map directly from Breath of the Wild and then just tweaked what they needed to, like the platforms going up the tower, so that it would run better in Smash. I only wonder why they kept the cloud shadows. Number 23, Dracula's Castle. What if you tried to move in here and Dracula went, "Hey, I'm Dracula here"? This place is just a little bit harder to fall off of than the last with these little raised parts, and then the stairs. And it still provides cover from the elements. Also, it just looks much nicer, obviously, so yeah. Sorry about that joke earlier. Number 22, Big Battlefield. So, obviously I did the other Battlefield stages earlier and I put them right next to each other. So, why is this one so much higher? Because it is so much bigger. I never realized how much bigger this stage was compared to the other two until I put them next to each other. So yeah, it goes high because it just has the size, and that cannot be beat at this size. But I just wanted to use this time now to compare the stages side by side. So this is Small Battlefield and Battlefield. This is Battlefield and Big Battlefield. And this is Big Battlefield and Small Battlefield. Pretty cool. Number 21, Green Hill Zone. Obviously this isn't the first walk-off stage, but it's one of the worst of the walk-off stages that are mostly walk-off stages. Like, Figure 8 Circuit is a walk-off, but that's not the main thing you think about, it's the cars. But a stage like Green Hill Zone is primarily about being a walk-off stage, not getting hit by something or falling into a pit, even though you can do both of those things on this stage. The reason I say that it's the worst is mostly due to the style. I find the colors and general textures of it all to be a bit much. Plus, if you turn the camera, you can see that the areas you actually stand on are pretty narrow, and that is no fun. Plus, most of the space on this stage is in the bowl, and that sucks. Number 20, Gerudo Valley. I'm just joking, it's Gerudo Valley, come on now. Every issue I had with Green Hill Zone is solved with Gerudo Valley. All of the nauseous colors are gone and swapped out for this nice post-apocalyptic brown. The background extends far further back and the bowl is gone. Though for as much as things change, they also stay the same, like this destructible bridge in the middle. Though I can clearly see that this bridge is over water as opposed to the unknown of what we had in Green Hill. Plus, we also get extra platforms, so that's nice. Number 19, Gar Plain. Similar again with the missing middle, but god, this stage is cool. We've had worse stages before in other games anyway. Just get a nice ladder down there and buy a weed eater and you'll be fine. These platforms up top are way more than big enough to accommodate whatever you need. The worst part is that you're just outside. More on that later. Number 18, Unova Pokemon League. It's more or less just a regular floater. The coolest aspect about it though is that you would be entitled to that building in the background. Other than that, there are these platforms that will occasionally appear on the sides, but without the Pokemon appearing in the background to add status effects to them, they just act as more flooring. Number 17, Kalos Pokemon League. Now I want to say up front that this is a shifter stage. Why is it this high up then, you may ask? Well, it's because it doesn't really matter. The idea with this stage is that you're in an arena that has you shifted around to other arenas, but with different type changes. So the water area has water, fire has fire, and so on. But the reason it doesn't super matter is because it's practically the same stage every time. But overall, the ground you stand on pretty much never changes shape or size, as opposed to stages like Paper Mario where each shift was an entirely new thing every time. Plus, I think if we had the keys to the place, we could turn off all the dumb shit that would char us while we were sleeping. And hey, here's the best part. This whole place is no more being at nature's whim. In here, we control the elements. Number 16, Gamer. Come on, you guys know I'm a sucker for the miniatures. This is such a simple but effective stage. Just a little house on a desk. The books already act as little roofs for us, and we can even use them as our second stories. Oh my god, second story, and they're books. I'm so clever. Real simple here, what you get is what you see, and I like what I see. Oh, and last thing, this stage obviously takes place in a bedroom, which means that we are indoors yet again. Splendid. Number 15, Arena Ferox. This stage has a concept that I've mentioned in passing before, but I really want to get into it now. We have the fly around stages and the shifting stages as a way to see different parts of whatever game world a stage is from, but there is another kind of stage that uses a different method to achieve the same effect of having more in a stage. I call these morph stages. I know this is already a term in the game, but I don't really care. I'm the one writing this script. From what I've seen, shifting stages and fly around stages are meant to be thought of as, you are in this land, let us show you around. And to achieve that, one flies you around and one teleports you. But in those scenarios, it's as if there is an outside force, a third party separate from the fighters and the stage, that is making sure you see these different areas of the land. In morph stages, the stage, the land itself, is in universe canonically altering itself to show you something different. You aren't being moved to somewhere different, you stay right where you are, and the place becomes different. I'm sure you guys understand what I mean, right? Let's look at Arena Ferox now. You start off on this flat island with nothing, but the ground shakes, smoke is kicked up, and new stuff comes up. Everything including the background is the same, but now there's new stuff. That is what I consider a morph. Some of you may be starting to feel annoyed with me sounding like I'm teaching object permanence to a baby, but I just wanted to make it very clear what was happening before I tried to make the big sell. Now that you understand morphing, and by the way this stage has a few different morph stages, I want to introduce the idea of different rooms. Let's say that we had control over these morphs, when they would happen, which rooms they would be, that sort of thing. We'd have a tablet or something. Now here is my idea, the big sell. When a morph is selected, I would like to think that we can bring in any furniture, items, food, whatever, and we can leave it there, select a different morph, and the stuff would fold in with the entire stage the way it does naturally. With this idea, we can have full-on different rooms, and we'd be able to easily access them and all the stuff we decorated with them or left in there whenever we want. But again, that's kind of a big sell. What do you guys think? Is this valid, or is this too much of a stretch to consider them this way? Let me know in the comments with a timestamp. Regardless, that is how I'll be looking at this one and a few others. And speaking of those, this stage is the worst of them, all medieval and steampunky. Let's get to the others. Number 14, Pokemon Stadium 2. Number 13, Pokemon Stadium. These are very similar, of course, the main difference being which types are represented and how nice they look, and I just think Pokemon Stadium 1 takes it there. All of the different type areas look really nice and inviting, especially the water type area with this cute windmill and little pond. And of course, these are morph stages that can be changed at will, just in case you did forget. But the area I find most interesting is the fire type area, since it already has a little house on it. Now it is of course a bit of a fixer-upper, but really just have one from the Hudson Construction Company get in there and get you right. And don't worry, I know the Suns, I can get you a discount. But yeah, a whole house, and I am being generous calling it that, is a pretty nice thing to come with the stage. And don't forget about that windmill too. That is at the very least 2 enclosed rooms that come fully installed already. One last thing about this stage specifically is that the rock type section comes with a bit of a cliff. I only do bring this up because I got so many comments on my last video about converting one of the Portal 2 test chambers into a rock climbing gym. So I figured I'd mention this for them since it would work even better. There you go, nerds. Now on to Pokemon Stadium 2. It's not much worse, it's just that it showcases different types that I don't think would work so well in a home, like ground and electric. Though I do want to point out the little cabin that comes a part of the ice type area. That would be pretty great to set up in. Granted, you don't mind the cold too much. See what I mean about the types? And the cabin already comes equipped with a cute cat poster too. Number 12, Flat Zone X. I'll go through this one very quickly so we can get to the good stuff. This is the first stage that is a pure walk-off, no pits of any kind. Even better though is that it's a morph stage too, so you get the multiple rooms and you don't have to worry about falling unlike those other morph stages. And the last pro before we do get to the cons is that this stage's morph fades in and out as opposed to the burying like the other ones, so that's a bit more seamless. The cons? You are on a Game & Watch, and thus two-dimensional. I don't know the real world ramifications of a 3-dimensional being made 2-dimensional, but the fighters don't seem to mind too much, so who can say. Alright, nieces and nephews, everything in between and or otherwises. We are about to get into the A tier, so to speak, and that means we got some damn fine stages coming up. Up first though is of course the worst of the best. Number 11, Shadow Moses Island. I told you it was the worst of the best. It only makes it this high because it's another true blue walk-off stage. In fact, it's a little bit safer than a walk-off because it has these walls that make it even harder to walk off. But yeah, elephant in the room here, it's the front door of a military base in the middle of what looks to be a blizzard, so it's not going to make for the coziest home. Number 10, Great Bay. We get much better pretty immediately. We got ourselves a much nicer sunny beach house to stay at, which some might argue is better than the front door military blizzard. You get these 2 platforms and even a ladder connecting them so you don't have to do the double jumps to get up there. And up there is a cute little round house. It's been a long time since I've played Majora's Mask, so I don't really remember what it is. Also, this stage is technically a walk-off, a swim-off really, so that's cool. Number 9, Coliseum. You are literally just in a big coliseum, and I guess if you really wanted to, you could set up these platforms as you like. But I don't think we can reach the same level of customization as a proper shifter stage. This stage is like the exact opposite of Shadow Moses. Number 8, Boxing Ring. It's like Coliseum, but
this ain't televised, they telling lies, but promise I won't.
And that really does go a long way when you were living somewhere. Plus, this place would very likely have AC, so that is a big plus if so. I wish I had more to say about this place, but that is really it. I mean, I guess it technically comes with a TV and sound system pre-installed, so that's great. Number 7, Mario Galaxy. Now, this one definitely could be argued as uninhabitable, being in space and all. But look at all the plant life, the grass, the flowers, the trees. I'm no plant scientist, but I'm pretty sure plants create oxygen and are like the basis for creating a breathable atmosphere. So I think we're pretty safe to move in here. And here is pretty nice. Lots of land for you, and we can't ignore the full house. That's like exactly what we're looking for. If this place weren't in space and maybe a little less curvy, it'd be perfect. Number 6, Tortimer Island. Hey, what do you know, it's all of the things that I said would make the last place better. You get a secluded home on a private island with trees that naturally grow fruit and a ferry that comes by all the time to bring you to the mainland if you ever need to go grocery shopping or whatever. All with no curve or possible lack of an atmosphere. Win-win. Number 5, Wii Fit Studio. Definitely one of the strangest stages in the game if you really think about it. where the hell are we? Are we in some kind of a building? If so, where are the windows or doors or anything else to indicate that we aren't in just some kind of fitness studio dimension, like some new level of the backrooms? Even if this were a level of the backrooms, there are definitely worse places to be. In fact, in terms of a video game realtor video, this place is pretty great, if you couldn't already tell by the ranking. We can see in the mirror that this stage goes pretty far back, seemingly giving us nearly a warehouse worth of space. And there's definitely a ceiling and assumedly a roof to this place, so there's no need to worry about the elements like so many other stages. And with this stage being a fitness studio, it's probably well air conditioned. So with all of the amenities that come with a modern home being found in this stage, why isn't it number 1? Well, it's just really plain. There are 2 pieces of furniture found in here, and neither of them look very comfortable. Really though, this place is kind of an eyesore unless you consider yourself to be a minimalist, I guess. Obviously, it's not fair to dock points because the stage doesn't come with a couch, but what I'm really trying to convey is that this place isn't all that cozy. And they do have some stages coming up that definitely have this place beat in that regard. But look, if this place had a bathroom in it, then maybe it would have gone higher. No fucking way. Number 4, Own It. Or On It, I don't know. I'd be remiss not to put a full-on perfect walkable city in the top spots. And I know I said early on that I would only be considering the plane that we play on as part of the living space, and the background and foreground wouldn't be factored. And then with every higher ranking, I delve further and further into the background until I am now considering a whole town as fair game. I am aware of how I bend my own rules. Is it fair to put On It this high given those reasons? No, definitely not. But unfortunately, it's too late now. I've already posted the video. Number 3, Living Room. Come on now, y'all know I'm a damn sucker for the miniatures, and unlike most of the mini stages, this is not a Pikmin stage. So that means we aren't stuck outside in the grass, and boy are we not. We've got the inside of this sweet little cozy home, which is even bigger than the Wii Fit studio, with much more appealing colors and good vibes. I mean, look at this place. There's a fireplace, candles, a TV. We even have your mom's fancy china, which is for display only. This is a home as much as I have ever seen one. This place is nicer than my house. Now, as much as I love this place, and I love the miniatureness of it, I do have to admit, hiking a mile from the couch to the TV to turn up the volume may not be the most convenient thing. So maybe if it were scaled properly, this one would be number 1. But as for now, that beautiful yard outside the window is looking a little too much like a jungle for us to move in here. Number 2, Luigi House, but it mansion. This one is at number 2. It's a friggin' mansion. Now, I know what you're thinking. It looks a little small to be a mansion, and I won't deny that. But I will make a bullshit excuse to hand wave that issue away and say, it's cool. It is a bit small, but it's still great. It's one of the few stages on here that is literally intended for people to live in. And it reflects that well. It even has a kitchen and more rooms beyond that we can't see through the door here. Plus, this front wall isn't actually missing, that's just a game making it transparent for our sake. In reality, it's still right there. Though I don't know if I can say the same for these sides though. Regardless, it's still a friggin' mansion, and it's only about to get better at the number 1 spot. And at that number 1 spot is Tomodachi Life. I like this one, but I was a little bit worried that it may just be a little bit too obvious of a pick. But come on, it is literally an apartment building where real life people stand-ins live. And unlike Luigi's Mansion, these rooms are fully sealed off from the elements, top to bottom, left to right. No gaps in the walls here. And really, this place is just much nicer and more accessible. The building has a full 6 rooms, whether you decide you want them all, or if you want to have some roommates, it'll never feel too cramped. And with those, there are a large variety of rooms for you to choose from. Whether you're feeling fancy or a bit more simple, even if you want to go silly, we can accommodate for you. Hell, even if you're feeling like you want to get a little active, we have rooms for that too. From soccer to boxer, we've got you covered. And I'll be honest and let you know, there may be more room types that I missed on this stage. I only went through twice to get footage, and the second viewing had different rooms from the first, so maybe you'll see some ones that you'll like even better. Regardless of which is the best, all of the rooms come fully furnished, which is cool, sure, but the very best part is that there is alcohol! Just kidding. Well, that is true, but I mean, that's not the best part. The best part, in my opinion, is that there is confirmed television/internet in this place. Now, a few other stages have screens that I joked about using as a TV, like Boxing Ring, but this stage has a room that has a confirmed television, positioned across from the couch and everything. Now, I say there may be internet as well because this TV is resting on a desk and may double as a computer monitor. And what's a computer without internet access? So, with maybe no internet, there is definitely a TV, furniture, sports areas, and doors to connect all these rooms. And with all of that, I can say with confidence that Tomodachi Life is the best stage to live in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Don't click off just yet, I've got some really cool stuff to talk about. Please stick around. First, of course, comment what game you want to see covered next on Video Game Realtor. I'm thinking about doing Mario Kart 8 next. Second, sorry about the wait, I tried to make this video sooner, but it sucked and I scrapped it. Link to that video in the description. Now, here's the cool stuff. I'm sure some of you noticed that a few of the rankings were not read by the angelic voice you've all become used to. They were read off by a few of my friends, and a few of them do some pretty cool stuff too, so I'll be linking all their social medias in the description. Make sure to check those out. Along with my own, of course, but that's not important. This isn't about my friends, this is about you guys. I wanted to do this to suggest the idea of having fans of the channel read off parts of the script, or doing other things similar to that. And whether that be picking a random subscriber or anyone who left funny comments on a video, I want you guys to be able to get in and play some sort of part in a video. And it would rarely be anything too big or too important for you to have to do, unless you would want to do something like that. And I'm also considering making a Patreon, so that way if you wanted to, you could read off longer, more important parts in the video, as well as plugging your own socials or projects that you would like to shout out. And the last possible perk could be that I read out whatever little message you want me to, or if you want, you can read it yourself. Obviously, I've never had a Patreon, so I don't know what makes for good perks, or how I would even get the audios or videos or whatever back from you guys. And especially the pricings, which I don't even want to suggest anything right now. But I want to hear what you guys have to say, so I'll be leaving a pinned comment on this video for all of you to reply about the Patreon so that I can have them all in one place. So if you want to voice any concerns, suggestions, obligations, anything like that, good or bad, or just anything neutral even, just leave it under the pinned comment. That way we can have it all in one place where everybody can see it and read things pertaining to that particular topic. Also, with these viewer-read sections, if they choose to, I'd love to be able to cut together a blooper reel for the very end of the video, just after the outro song plays. If you don't feel comfortable with that, or you don't want a specific part left in the blooper reel or whatever, just let me know, and I won't use it. I'm really excited for this idea, and I hope y'all are too. I'm always so grateful for you guys, and I feel like I can never really express that properly, but having y'all actually be in the video feels like it might help get that point across. So yeah. With that, I've got nothing else to say, so later!
What's your name again? What's your name again? What's your name again? What's your name again?
Thank you guys for 7,000 subscribers. God, that sucked. Oh, it's so much worse than I thought it was gonna be. Oh, God.
We really pulled through on that.
We did. Oh my God.
I'm a lot faster than I was expecting.
Strength.